garden of fan-streamed sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
2 from 44. It is wide to the right. No good.
Wow. And a Buccaneers opener that had a little bit of everything, some crazy stuff going on, comes to an end, and the Bucs win 23-20. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Wonderful Monday morning, a victory Monday, first one of the 2025 season. I mean, this was a hell of a weekend, and I guess if you're a Bucs fan and a USF fan today, first of all, I hope you're doing well. I hope your heart rate's doing well. I hope it's come down over the last 48 hours, but you have to be doing amazing. Some other teams can't say the same thing, or fans rather, but what a weekend in college football and the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, USF's win was just absolutely monumental, and I would have to say a defense that was absolutely non-existent last year has shown up in the first two games for USF, and it's just absolutely incredible. And they won that game with a 3-and-out late in the game to get back offensively on the field, and then Byron Brown did his thing, and Gators defenders spitting on people did their thing, which is just insane. So we'll talk about a monumental win for USF and also for the Buccaneers as well. My microphone is a little weird today. I want to make sure we got everything set up right. Does it sound good? How are we sounding? Good. Is it better there?
On my end over here, at least.
All right. Hold on.
Although I just echoed, so.
All right. I think we got it now. I hate when we have these issues, but yes, we do. All right. We'll get right into it. This Buccaneers win was, for me, you can see I'm distracted. All right. We'll stick with it right there. How's that? Is that good?
Yeah. As long as I'm not echoing or anything, which I don't.
Are you good?
I don't hear myself echoing anymore, so I think I'm good.
All right. We're good. As far as the Bucs go, this was a bizarre game on so many levels. I thought Baker played a really, really scrappy game. He was rusty, no question about it. You know, I'd asked him on Wednesday if he was ready to go, having not played in the preseason, and he kind of gave me a cryptic, I'm good. Like almost like I would have liked to have played in the preseason, but I didn't get to play in the preseason, so that's what we're going to go with. And I thought he was, from an accuracy standpoint, off a little bit, and I think it cost him a couple of spots here and there. But the throw he makes to Ibuka at the end of the game is just sick, absolutely sick. A play that they had set up earlier in the game with Mike Evans. It's a double post with both Mike Evans running. Mike runs a little shallower post in front of Ibuka, who comes in from behind and gets the one-on-one coverage. And Baker, from a tight pocket, couldn't really step into the throw. Makes an absolute gorgeous throw over the top into a contested catch area, because the Mike Hughes was not far behind. But Ibuka in a big situation, obviously, you know, those are the situations that you don't expect a rookie to excel. All the pressure, here comes the ball. He knows it's a game winner for the most part, and he just snatches it like it's nothing, like it's absolutely nothing. And his first touchdown was in a very similar situation, coming across the middle of the field, a defender coming from his front side and back side, sandwiched in between, no flinch whatsoever, just catches the ball in stride and moves it into the end zone. That may have looked easy. It's not. When you have a defender coming from your front side and one on your back side, and you're running into an open area, but you just don't – you got to concentrate on the ball, even though these defenders are coming at you, and it wasn't a big thing for him. And those are the nuances of the position that you just don't expect from a rookie early on. And it was two phenomenal plays. Last night at first blush, when we came on after the game, I wasn't high on what the offensive line did. Going back, I got through the first half of the game, and I thought the offensive line played a lot better than I initially thought they did. There was some pressure on Baker. A lot of times I think he exited the pocket a little bit early. He didn't get to his checkdowns like he should have early in the game, and I think that would have got him some early momentum and first downs. I think he was trying to make a big play early on and instead of just taking what they were given. But they settled into it, and they scored enough points to win the game. It was certainly no Van Gogh from an offensive standpoint. In the running game, it's interesting. They ran for 103 yards, and Bucky only had, I think, 2.6 per carry. So it didn't look great, but there were also 3 runs that were taken off the board for penalties that were chunk runs. They had an 11-yard run taken off, or the 8-yard run, and another 7 or 8-yard run. So almost 25 yards of rushing that was taken off the board that were really, really good plays. So you would have ended up with almost 125, 130 yards rushing. Then you're like, not so bad. But in certain points, it felt like the running game stalled a little bit. The offensive line shakeup, I said this before the game, right before it, when I heard about it, I was like, this is not good. Like this, you never want to change 3 positions right before the season. And evidently they've been working on it for a couple of weeks, just haven't told anybody. I don't know how they got that through, but they did. It's never a good, but then you got to trust Carberry and you got to trust Pacucci. These are really, really good offensive line coaches who have transformed this offensive line and this running game into the 4th best in the league last year. And I believe it was a lot to do with them and the addition of Grant Barton as well. But these coaches know what the hell they're doing. And if this is what they thought was the best remedy, you got to go with it. Now, what were the results good? I'm not going to say great. It certainly wasn't the running game of last year, but it was good enough. Baker only got sacked 1 time. He was under pressure, but he only got sacked 1 time. So I think in general, they played pretty well against a revamped defense of the Falcons that I think is much better than last year's version. They got a couple of really weird calls in this game. Some of the challenges I just didn't understand how they were adjudicating him. The one down on the goal line where Penix on the sideline reaches out, they said that he gave himself up. So when he hits the ground, the play is dead and there is no fumble. I thought when you're giving yourself up, it's more of a sliding technique, or you're not diving. When you're diving, to me, that is not giving yourself up. That is that you're trying to get as many yards as you possibly can. And that should have been a fumble through the end zone. But they adjudicated it as he was giving himself up. I don't know about that. I think that's in question. And the Falcons, did challenge well, and they've got the one on the goal line where Kancey almost had Penix. And though, by the way, those are 2 incredible plays by Michael Penix. Michael Penix is going to be a really good quarterback in this league. I mean, I think if there's another thing we learned from this is that moving forward, the Falcons are going to be a factor because they have found their franchise quarterback. I know it's a little early to say that, but just watching the way this cat played last year and in this game, I could not be more impressed. Very, very accurate, runs well when he has to, has incredible feel for the game, has a really good feel for the game, quick decisions, knows how to read the field. He's going to be good. And that being said, the Bucs held them out of the end zone twice in that red zone, forcing Reddick got a big sack in the 3rd period, and then at the end, Koo misses the chippy really at 44 yards that saves the game. So a lot of bizarre things happening, but I think in the end, what I come away with was this was a gritty win. There was a couple games last year against the Falcons that I think you should say the Bucs probably should have won both of them. They didn't close either game well. This game they closed with some very big plays defensively, and of course, scoring a touchdown with 59 seconds left. You got the ball back. You needed to go the length of the field, and that's exactly what the Buccaneers did. Baker making some great throws, including the final one to Ibuka. That's a money drive. That's a money drive when you had to have it. So listen, they lost, they were 2-6 and 7-point games last year. Now they're 1-0. That's a big freaking deal, and it's a huge divisional win. Yes, it was probably their C+ game, but if you can play a C+ against a divisional opponent and get a win, that's a hell of a W. You take it, you get the hell out of Atlanta and say, we're 1-0, let's go.
Yeah, bizarre football game, especially that 4th quarter and particularly that 18-play, 9-minute drive. Just very, very bizarre, and it felt like it would never end. But you never apologize for winning games in the NFL. They're all hard to win. I don't care who you play. I don't care where you're playing. I don't care who you have in the lineup, who you don't have in the lineup. It's very hard to win in the NFL.
Yep.
And yesterday is a game that I've seen so many Bucs teams in my lifetime that have failed to win that football game and have done everything in their power to lose that football game.
Excellent point.
And even though there were times in that game where the Bucs seemed like they were doing everything they could to lose that football game, they never got out of it mentally. I felt like they were always present in the moment. They stayed in the game, and they showed the kind of, fight and the kind of grit that you need to win football games in this league. And remember this one because last year the Bucs lost both games to the Falcons, one of them in heartbreaking fashion on Thursday Night Football. And from there, the Bucs made it really hard on themselves to try to have to come back and win that division last year. Now you got one of these wins down against a divisional opponent who, based on what we saw yesterday, I think it's going to be another tight race, like tightly contested battle at the top of the NFC South between these two football teams. So you had to have it. And you did it without Tristan Wirfs. You did it without Chris Godwin. You did it without Jalen McMillan. I think that's important to keep in mind as well. The makeshift offensive line, I think like everybody, when I read that yesterday before the game, I'm like, what the hell are we doing here?
Bizarre.
I was like, why are we shuffling 3 spots on the offensive line when we only have to shuffle 1? I didn't understand it, but
Charlie Heck must be really bad.
Well, I mean, he didn't exactly have the greatest showing when we saw him in camp in the preseason. Now, did he? So
I thought he was
fine
about it. I thought he was fine. I mean,
I had concerns. I definitely had concerns for Charlie Heck, and I mean, I give Todd Bowles credit for that. We could rip on Bowles for some things yesterday, but I give him credit for making a bold move right there and going with that and believing it. And then Graham Barton going back to left tackle, first time he's done that since he was at Duke. I thought Graham played a great game. I got to be honest with you. I haven't gotten a chance.
Yeah, the holding call was bullshit. They got a holding call in there, but that was.
I haven't gotten a chance to go watch the entire all 22 yet on that, but I've seen some clips kind of flowing out from the game, and Brian Baldinger in particular, who always does a great job breaking down the film on Twitter. Recommend go follow a ton of his stuff. He showed about 9 or 10 plays of Graham Barton, and I mean he pitched a shutout. I think, granted, it's not a great Atlanta pass rush that he was up against, but I don't care. Center to left tackle, not easy to do. I was probably more surprised by Michael Jordan's performance, for all you 90s people out there, starting at guard, Michael Jordan. I mean, it was perfect. And Michael Jordan, if you look at today, the PFF grades are already out. Michael Jordan was the number 1 rated player on offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday.
Really?
Right next to him and Ben Bredesen were 1 and 2. Actually, Bredesen was 1, Michael Jordan was 2. So I thought the left side of the offensive line actually held their own. I actually thought Luke Gedeke and Cody Mauch were the ones who were getting beat more so early in that game, and they showed that because Luke Gedeke gave up a game-high 4 pressures. So I thought that was interesting, but they got around it. Baker Mayfield, the throw at the end of the game is just special, and it's like he didn't have his best game whatsoever. I would argue before that drive, Baker Mayfield was in the middle of what I thought was one of his worst games as a Buccaneer. He was just really off, I thought, for majority of the afternoon. But again, he has such a great ability to stay in it mentally, and I can't stress that enough, how important that is. And the Baker Mayfield of old probably lets that get to him, and he implodes and maybe makes a really bad decision on that final drive and loses him that football game. Nope. Stayed in it. Good protection around him on that throw to Ibuka, and he throws an absolute seed. You mentioned it. That was a play that they called twice earlier in that game. Didn't hit it either time, but they learned a few things. Yeah. They learned a few things. Jesse Bates was biting on Mike Evans' post, and that allowed Ibuka, and Ibuka ran a great route against Mike Hughes there to get just enough separation, and throw was so perfect, nobody is stopping that. So you take the win, a lot to clean up. It's week 1. It's always sloppy. A lot of teams were really sloppy yesterday. The Bucs played their C+ game, and they got a big divisional win on the road. You take it, and you move on to Houston.
Absolutely, 100%. Win close games, and you have experienced players that come up with big plays in those moments, and Baker was one of those. Defensively, I thought there were moments. I don't know where, at what point Servassier turned into number 45, Devin White. I'm just missing tackles. And the first one, look, they rushed 6. Bijan goes for 50 on that play. They rushed 6. So when Bijan catches the ball in the flat to the wide side, okay, he's got 6 Buccaneer defenders behind him. All right, so you got 5 left, and you got Servassier out in space, one-on-one with Bijan Robinson. That's going to be a tough call. And he wasn't – one of the problems was he didn't get to him quick enough. So when he caught the ball, he had plenty of time to turn and look and set up his move. Servassier want to be quicker on the uptake to get to him in coverage. So now you got a situation where you're one-on-one in a lot of space. That's a tough call. The problem was nobody else rallied to the ball. Like there was nobody else. Zion gets blocked. Tyke gets blocked downfield. You got to get off your blocks at that point and make a play. And Winfield was coming from the other side. There was just nobody there. And he runs through the entire secondary. Kind of looked like the game winner last year up there. So that was tough. But there was another play where he comes in and tries to attack the quarterback and leaves Robinson behind him. It's a 23-yarder. That was a huge play. That's the old Devin White, forget who you're guarding, go after the quarterback deal. You can't do that. Come on, sir. Servassier, you're better than that. We expect you to be better than that. Now, he made some plays down the stretch, but that was, I think it's one point they even put Deion Jones in. That was not what we expected from Servassier, but we got to remember this is like his fourth start, maybe third start in the NFL, so he'll be better. No, he'll be better. He'll be better, but that was not one of his better games for sure.
I thought it was like, there was some good and there were some bad from Servassier. I think the bad plays sort of stick out the most because they were so egregious. But to your point, it's you have to understand, Servassier Dennis was not a first-round pick. He wasn't a second. He was a fifth-round pick.
Fifth-round pick, yeah.
He's a fifth-round pick, okay? The fact that he is even starting for this football team, I mean, I don't know what that says about the Bucs or anything and how that position has developed over the years or what, but he's starting, okay? It is what it is. He's a flawed football player. And Bijan Robinson is a first-round pick and one of the best running backs in football. And for all you fantasy football people out there, he was going number one in almost every draft, okay? He's a premier player in this league. Linebacker play across the NFL, I got news for you. It doesn't look great for the Bucs. It doesn't look great for a lot of teams. The linebacker play in the NFL is just not really at a good point right now. There's about 5 guys. I can count on one hand how many guys who could probably make that play against Bijan Robinson in space. And
not many.
Servassier Dennis is just not one of them. Yeah. But I give him credit. I give him credit. He got taken out of the game momentarily after a few of those plays. But again, he stayed in it. It didn't keep him from continuing to try to make plays. And I got to tell you, the Buccaneers, I mean, they stifled Atlanta's ground game the entire game. I mean, when you look at the box score, Bijan Robinson had 24 rushing yards on 12 carries. Tyler Algier, 24 rushing yards on 10 carries. And you want to know who was making the most stops? Servassier Dennis. And you look at today, 86.3 run defense grade, highest by far among all Buccaneers, Servassier Dennis. So he's one of those guys where you're just going to have to take the good and you're going to have to take the bad with him, and you just have to understand that. So some good and some bad, a lot to clean up, like I said. Overall, defensively, I thought the biggest issue, I mean, first of all, let's just say this. I don't know about you. The Bucs defense, I never just feel like comfortable watching them. Like I'm always like waiting for something bad to happen. They just don't really give you a lot of confidence from that standpoint. And the 4-man rush, they've got to figure this out. It was, again,
it's got to be better.
It's just got to be better. Like they're not going to go anywhere as a defense or be any better than they were last year until they figure out how to get a competent 4-man rush.
Now,
and yesterday, it just wasn't there enough.
They were running a lot of stunts up front and twists, and Yaya was getting home and Reddick was getting home, but Pennick was getting the ball out of his hands. I mean, that was, I graded the whole second half of the first half. I'm like, okay, that's a nice move. Yaya comes free on the inside, and right before he gets there, ball's out, and it's accurate. And, that's just good quarterbacking. That's good quarterbacking. So I thought there were some moments, and Reddick had the big, and that was a twist that he had the sack on late in the game. So they were looking. I thought they got some pressure there, but Penix was getting the ball out really, really quick. Their blitzes were ineffective at most. At some point, I just said, "Hey, stop blitzing him. Stop blitzing him. Play coverage." He's getting the ball out, and somebody said in here in the comments that he didn't complete a ball over 10 yards. I'm like, is that true? But I thought for the most part the pass rush was not great, but it was It needs to be better. There's no question about that. It needs to be, especially when they rush 4. And when you got a quarterback that's picking up the blitzes, just, you just got to – everybody wants to be aggressive, and I get that. But at some point, Penix was just too good. He was getting the ball out. And then when you're getting the ball out in the flat to Bijan Robinson, that's trouble. So I thought the pass rush was okay. But the thing that pissed me off the most, so after Bijan – well, actually, that was before Bijan. The first play of the game, they go empty, right, at 5 wide, and Bijan's out on the right. And what does Zion do? He backs up 12 yards. And he allows him to run a little slant, easy 10 yards for the first play. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we weren't doing this year. I thought we were going to play press and get up in their face. We just allowed 10 yards off the first play of a freaking gimme because Zion McCollum is backing up. Now, I don't know, they didn't do that a ton in the game, but the first freaking play, I got to see this. So, again, I said this, a lot of promises about how aggressive this defense is going to be. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure there was a big difference in the way they called the game. Again, I only got through the first half because I was watching all the other games yesterday, but that has me a little bit concerned.
And the other thing, too, can someone please figure out on defense how to catch the football?
Oh, my God.
My God. I mean, I know one of them was going to get negated anyway because of a
terrible roughing the passer call on Vita Vea. My God.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing with that. So that one was going to get negated anyway. But even earlier
catch the freaking ball, bro.
Yeah, catch the football.
Right to you.
And it was early in the game, and it was Zion, too. And it's like, you just got paid a few days ago, to be the number 1 corner on this football team. I mean, catch the football. Somebody make a $16 million play, please. Because, I mean, those are little things that allowed them. That pretty much. Now, Chase McLaughlin missing the field goal obviously hurt in that football game, and that was weird. Chase McLaughlin missing 2 kicks.
And the extra point, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what in the world happened there. Him missing 2 kicks.
New holder. He's got a new holder. I'm going to blame it on
Yeah, maybe. But missing 2 kicks didn't help, but that was also a little bit of a swing there in that second quarter when he dropped that interception down there in the red zone, and that allowed Atlanta to then kick a field goal, and that's a 3-point swing at the end of the half. I mean, if he makes that interception, then it's a completely different ball game potentially on how that thing sort of turns out. So got to make those plays when you have them. But I still would say regardless of that, I thought the secondary held up okay. I see a lot of people going after Jamel Dean today. And I guess it's because of, the face mask penalty that he had or something. I thought
terrible.
Jamel played fine, though, other than that. Drake London didn't really impact the game. Kyle Pitts didn't hurt you. Jacob Parrish, I think, made some really nice plays and was playing aggressive out there. And Antoine Winfield Jr., the All-Pro, welcome back, buddy. I mean, he wasn't moving like that last year, and he made the play of the game. That was the play of the game, man.
Saved the game.
Thought Kadarius Hodge was going to do it again like he did on Thursday Night Football and score the game-winning touchdown to break the Bucs' heart. And Antoine Winfield comes in there like a missile and makes that play. He wasn't making those plays last year. He was making those plays in 2023, though.
Yeah, that was a huge game-saving play right there. And that's the thing that we have to be concerned about. Because let's just be honest. The Bucs could have easily have lost this game. And what would the narratives be? The narratives would be completely different, right? So we have to – hey, look, they won the game. That's the most important thing. But I don't think we're going to ignore some of the things that happened in this game that could have cost them the game. And had they lost this game, it'd be a terrible. Yeah. It'd be a much different narrative. And one of those is Jamel Dean did not get called for pass interference at the end there when they easily could have. The play I'm talking about, where I think it was Washington who came out and Dean was just standing there. He was squatting. And he got beat. He was going to go by him, and he reached out and hit him and held him, and the ball was thrown, and that could have easily been pass interference, and it was overthrown because Dean impeded his route. And that if they call that right there, they're at 1st and goal at the 1-yard line or the 3-yard line. So it's a totally different, and then it's a totally different narrative. So I thought Dean played okay. That would have been 2 huge penalties. One that negated a sack that would have probably ended that drive, which I think did end in a touchdown. That was the long drive. So that's a huge play and a dumb play. Like, why are you grabbing a face mask on playing man?
Not even a part of the play.
Like, what are we doing? And then that last one, that could have easily been called, and he would have been the GOAT. I mean, in the bad way, the bad GOAT. So, yeah, and Amitz McGee here, my man, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, partner. Said to all the Jamel Dean haters, how did London affect the game? 8 catches, 55 yards. Tell me about the goal line plays that he made on London. He did make some plays on Drake London, no question about it. And he had 15 targets and just 8 catches. So, again, now that just wasn't Jamel Dean. He wasn't on him man-to-man the whole time, not that I saw. I think Zion got in there a couple times as well. I think Zion was playing him as well. So, I don't know. I thought, again, I got to go through the whole tape, but I thought Dean, listen, if he gets called for that penalty, it's a whole different narrative. So he didn't. He got away with it. That's good.
Yeah, I think the thing we could say about the defense overall is it was good enough to win the football game yesterday, but similar to how we saw last year, it's not a sustainable way if you want to be a true contender to win the last game of the season. It's just not. The way you played yesterday and not being able to take advantage of the opportunities and get turnovers that can change the game, and then not being able to get a consistent 4-man pressure and allowing Michael Penix to sort of pick you apart, which I thought he did for large stretches of that game. You know, the Bucs did a good job of, there was a while where the Falcons ran so many plays, but they never could get into the red zone. So the Bucs were very much so, again, the bend not break stuff, but I'd like them to be a little bit more on, aggressive and trying not to play sort of that bend not break style. And because I just don't think it's a sustainable way to play, especially when you see some better teams going forward.
No, totally agree. It wasn't their best, but it was good enough to get a W. And those key plays down the stretch are what you really remember. All right, let's get to some of the comments here on the Bucs before we hit the break. Sergio Bilger says, "Good morning, gents and Petermans. First game, rust to start the game. Some mistakes, but a great win. Nonetheless, it's a win in the NFL. Absolutely." More right Rudder says, heck of a win. He was not happy with the pass rush. Non-existent. I wouldn't say non-existent, but I get you.
Hassan was credited with 8 pressures in that.
Yeah, they were
game.
Getting there.
He got a sack. Yeah, I mean, he was getting double teamed a lot. I think we will. I mean, I can tell you that Hassan Reddick at least showed to me like he is the number 1 pass rusher on this football team compared to what they had last year. Joe Tryon Shoinka, huge upgrade. Huge upgrade.
Absolutely. Agree. Bantry says, "Morning all, correct. A win is a win, but still some concerns. To my untrained eye, the Bucs looked like they weren't ready to play at the start." I was trying to figure out what the first play call was. It was just like this is your first play call, Josh Grisard. It's just like, what was that? The early scripting did not go well in the first 2 3 and outs. Trying to go back to my notes. How did you think his play calling went most of the day?
I thought early on it was a little left something to be desired, I thought, early in that football game. I think the difference is they just didn't run the ball as well as they did so often last year. Like, they just could not find a consistent rhythm. And, I think because the game was so close, they used Bucky a lot. Whereas Rachaad White, I think, got 2 touches. And if not for a great play by Xavier Watts there near the red zone, Rachaad White scores a touchdown. At some point. Yeah. So, and I'll shout out Rachaad White, by the way. I don't know how many snaps he got, but when he was in there,
he played well,
especially in pass blocking. Rachaad White saved Baker Mayfield's ass multiple times, and that's the one thing he does that, Bucky's not as good at doing, and surely Sean Tucker's not doing as good as doing. So they just didn't run the ball as well, and it made them, I think, a little one-dimensional at times. Getting Mike Evans the football, that's always a point of emphasis. It didn't seem like Mike was ever you never saw Mike Evans wide ass open or anything like that. Mike Evans had to fight his way to 5 catches for 51 yards yesterday. So that was something. They didn't get tight ends involved. They had K. Dotton on an easy touchdown there on a broken coverage, and him and Baker were on completely different. I
think that was a read situation where the corner was outside and the safety had vacated or was over to the left.
Yeah,
and I think Cade was supposed to read it to turn back into the inside with the corner on the outside. but he was so wide. He even turning to the outside, he was wide open. So I think it was almost like the corner was so far out of position that it wasn't a clear declarative for Baker or Otten. He was so wide open. The bottom line is he just thought he would bring it back to the middle with the corner to the outside, but he was so far outside that I think Kate thought he could go either way and catch it, and then he could have.
Yeah.
But that was just a weird situation, and typically they'll be on the same page. He turns to the inside, and that's a touchdown. But that's just, that's just
I will say the other thing too, I think 15% of Baker Mayfield's passes went 20 yards downfield. I think his average last year was around 8%. So a little bit more of an emphasis of trying to push the ball more downfield. And unfortunately, Baker didn't hit some of them, but he hit the ones that mattered. He hit the ones that mattered, and then
like the first play, it looked like they were going to, he was supposed to come backside to Bucky open in the flat, and he was wide open. For some reason, he just stuck onto the right side and just didn't see him, and then the pressure came and he threw it away. So he said this in his post game that he missed a bunch of check downs early, and he did. So maybe there has been this emphasis in the offseason to put the ball downfield, and he was just thinking more of that. Like he said on Wednesday, he needs the quick game needs to be a big part of this offense, and I thought it was going to be, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't. It looked like he was still staring to get the ball downfield. And I think, like he said post game, I should have just taken the check downs and get the ball to Bucky and Rashad in the flat. That's just easy money to both of those guys. It's easy money. And when you've got Ibuka now as a threat, teams have to respect Mike and Ibuka. So this should give you a little bit more opportunity to get the ball out to the backs in the flat. I didn't see a whole lot of screen game yesterday either. Like the outside screen game, the tunnel screens to the wide receivers. That's
what I'm saying. I thought they were going to – I thought Rachaad White could have been used a little bit more in the pass game.
Yes,
I really did. I thought I was a little bizarre to me. I thought Rashad had a pretty – Rashad had over 900 yards of offense last year for the football team. And he was almost non-existent yesterday. Maybe it was the injury. I know he was coming back from that. Maybe they had him on a pitch count. But he looked good when he was in there for the few
He had a burst. He had a really good burst. And there was one play where he got tripped up at the line. It was a kind of a little middle screen. If he breaks that tackle like he normally does, that's probably about a 20-yard gain.
Yeah.
And he goes over on his reception yards like I was hoping, but didn't quite get that one. But I did have Emeka Ibuka plus 1,700, 2 touchdowns. Thank you very much.
I can't believe you were bold enough to go with 2 touchdowns for Emeka Ibuka.
Well, I went 2 tutties for Mike and 2 tutties for Ibuka. So I cashed, but cashed this plus 1,700. That was a nice pickup.
I had the stat on that, by the way. Emeka Ibuka, second player since 1970, the merger, to record a game-winning touchdown with under a minute remaining in regulation of their first career game, joining Ernest Wilford on September 12, 2004. So there's your stat of the day from Emeka Ibuka yesterday.
And probably the first player to do that and have another tutty in the game as well. So your debut is 2 touchdowns and a game winner under a minute to play. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Anybody want to question that pick now? You want to do it?
No, I think we're good with
that. They don't win the football game without him.
No question about it. Now, does Godwin make that play? Probably. But still, nice to have him. Yeezy says Baker's C game was 3 tuds and a go-ahead game-winning drive. It's true. It's true. And it's knowing how to win in the clutch. That's what
picked up plays with his legs too. Some clutch third down conversions with his legs.
Yeah, 5 carries for 39 yards and a bunch of key third down conversions to keep drives going, which he's become so adept at. Elijah Barrera says Sunbelt Billy is back on the hot seat. Yeah, we'll talk about that in our next segment. Not all my computer's a little slow here today, buddy. S says great week for Tampa Bay football. Oh, indeed. How about the Knowles? 77-3. It's the Sisters of the Poor, the Blind Sisters of the Poor. But hey, shout out Graham, absolute stud. Moves over to left tackle and plays a hell of a game. Yeah, I thought he did a really good job, especially in some of the pulls. There was the one play where they went for it on 3rd and 1 right before they go for it on 4th and 1 and get it. I'll be honest with you. First guess, I thought that was a bad call by Bowles. Going forward you're down 7-0, 4th and 1 on your own 36th in the first or second quarter. Ooh. Okay, Todd. They made it.
I thought Todd had a decent day yesterday on the management standpoint.
They won. They won the game. They won a 1-score game. That's a decent day. Angelo Provenzano said, let's talk about the timeout the Bulls took to allow the Falcons to throw the challenge flag. Okay, yes, let's talk about that. So I don't know about you, but first glance on the catch from Tez, I was like, oh, he bobbled that ball. He bobbled that ball. That's not a catch. That was my first glance. Okay, so I don't know who's doing the work upstairs for the Bucs, but at that point, and Bulls too, you got to see that. I mean, wasn't that pretty clear that he bobbled that ball going out of bounds? I was like, right off the bat, that's not a catch. So now, if there's any doubt that it's not a catch, get to the line and run the play.
Well,
call it timeout.
I had the full quote here from him. I'll read it to you from yesterday. He said, initially from the replay we had upstairs, it was a catch. It was in our favor, so we slowed it down. Then we got discombobulated and had to call timeout. Then they checked it from another angle, and it was incomplete. It was just unfortunate.
I don't know who upstairs had the angle that said it was a catch, but I thought it was pretty obvious it wasn't a catch.
I guess the thing there is don't get discombobulated next time on the following play and forcing yourself to have to call a timeout.
Well, I think there was just so much, everybody was unsure. Should we challenge this? Should we get to the call? Should we not? Should we, I think in that moment you just have to be clear-minded and do what you think is right. And if Bowles is getting the word from upstairs that it's a good catch, then he's got to go with that. He's got to go with that. That's not on him. His people failed him up there. Whoever his people were, if it's the new game management guy, then he failed him because that was not good. So I guess we got to give Bowles a pass on that since he was getting the move. If they tell him upstairs that it's good, then he's got to coach. And he doesn't have the ability to watch a replay in real time like that.
It's sort of a gut thing, and you're relying on who's watching it upstairs, and they gave him bad info.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that's a organizational failure on that one, not necessarily just Bowles, but that was not good. Not good managed. But I think we got to give Bowles a pass on that. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
RJ Martin, good morning to you. He said was very confused about why we rushed to the line to only call a timeout and then let Raheem Morris challenge that. Yeah, that was. I thought the refs had a really bad day. There was a play on the 3rd and 1 where Bucky gets hit in the backfield, and that was Graham missed his block on that one. He gets hit in the backfield, but then spins and falls forward, the middle of his back, landing on the first down line. So clearly the ball is over the line. Okay, and there's never the officials don't spot the ball. They in terms of like looking at it as a first down. That was a terrible spot. They missed that. And then Bowles was running to the linesman saying, hey, we need a measurement here. We need a measurement and a spot. I never even saw where you guys spotted that ball because I think you missed the spot. Because I think he wanted to challenge, but he couldn't get a clear idea what was going on. And then he didn't want to waste the timeout. So, but again, that's on the refs. Make the right call.
Why is it every time these two teams play, the refs are just an abomination all the way around? I mean, I remember the
D crew,
it's like crazy. The Thursday night game last year, there were like horrible calls that went against the Bucs way throughout that entire game. And then yesterday, I felt like every bad, break as possible went against the Bucs yesterday. They probably got saved a little bit on the London would have been touchdown where they ruled it incomplete. That was kind of weird how we didn't have an angle from the back of the end zone there. Yeah. Because I have a feeling if they had an angle from the back of the end zone, I personally thought it was a catch.
No, I thought he dropped it.
So the Bucs got a little – you thought he dropped it?
Yeah, he did drop it. He caught it, and then it was going down his leg.
Yeah, but I thought he kind of sandwiched it, though.
No, I don't think he did. I think that ball hit the ground at some point because it was going down his leg.
Just happy we didn't have a behind look on that because
that was one that went our way. Yeah, no question. Yeah. That was a big one that went our way. There was another one when Sean Tucker got the ball off the right side, a big hole, and he trips. And he slides across the first down line. But he was never touched by a defender. He just slipped. And that should have been easily a first down, but they called him down where his knee hit when he wasn't touched. It's like, these are things that they got to see. They got to see.
And I genuinely also, like, I don't even know how to unpack the Penix play there at the goal line.
Let's take a break and make an attempt at that, because I do have some. I thought they blew that one too. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Go to the website and get your free consultation. That's at JeevesLawGroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. And we're also brought to you by OnSiteConstructionFL.com. If you're looking for a contractor to renovate your home, to add on to your home, to build from scratch, On-Site Construction FL, Jason Fawcett is the company. Check out the website. 5-star reviews across the board. Over 1,400 jobs done here in the Tampa Bay area for over 20 years. Experienced, trusted contractors. Get on the preferred client list by going to OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Back in 3.
Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Kingmakers Tampa. Awesome spot right there in Midtown Tampa. You can use it as a work away from home spot. We have private offices there, a nice stylish conference room to use, a production studio. And then you can also use it as a man cave as well, private club. We actually watched the Bucs games in there yesterday. Very nice with the 15 different screens, watched all the games. So it's a great place to hang out. We've got a golf simulator as well. So it's a very unique spot. Become a member now at kingmakerstampa.com before all the memberships are gone. And they will go. So check it out, kingmakerstampa.com. All right. By the way, what a game did you watch the end of the Bills-Ravens game last night?
I fell freaking asleep, man.
Dude.
Oh,
my
fourth
God.
quarter was starting. I fell asleep.
I think, honestly, one of the top 5 regular season games I've ever seen. It was unbelievable. Derrick Henry was a man possessed. You could not stop. You just turn around, hand off I've never seen him faster. He looks faster than he's ever been. And obviously he's old. A load. He looks literally faster than it's like Mike Evans. He looks better than he's ever looked. And now Derrick Henry's running faster than he's ever run. He was unstoppable. They won it. And so was, Lamar was incredible. There were a couple plays where he was absolutely 3 guys around him in the backfield for about a 15-yard loss. And next thing on 3rd and 12, next thing you know, he's running down the middle of the field for a 25-yard gain. Just unstoppable. The 2 of them were unstoppable. And they just kept answering. And the Bills had no answer for him. But then all
I know is the Ravens had 40 points and 235 plus rushing yards, and teams who did that, including playoffs and NFL history, were 277-0 before last night.
I was just going to read that stat. You beat me to it, Nick.
Well, I beat you to it. So that's great. That's all I know.
277-1. That's it. Because I said to myself, I've never seen a game where the other team was unstoppable from a rushing standpoint, and they lost the game. And it was one play handed off to Derrick Henry again. I forget who it was, but he punched it out, and the Bills got the ball back. They got the ball back. And then Josh Allen is making this ridiculous throw after ridiculous throw. It was insane to watch.
Yeah, and your boy Keon Coleman had a big breakout when I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, Keon Coleman had quite the box score last night. So your boy might be the new wide receiver 1 over in Buffalo.
Now, as you know, I have many, many times bitched and moaned about Godwin's injury last year. And there's no way you were going to come back. Against the Ravens, it was the same situation. We couldn't stop them. Haven't stopped them all night. We're down 3 scores late. Like, you're not going to win this game. And they didn't win it. But Godwin got hurt, and I think it was a minute and a half to play. They were down 2 scores or 3, whatever it was. But again, teams were 277-0 in those situations. So I guess I was right, but I guess I was wrong because there was still hope. Well,
when you have 17 on the other side of the ball, you're always in the game.
We have Baker, but
he's not
quite Josh Allen. He's not quite 17. No. It's so yeah, I still think you had no shot to win that game. But the Bills came back and won that game. Listen, and I for one, I'm picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl this year. Bills Bucs Super Bowl, and the Bills win it. If the Bucs get it. But I think the Bucs can get to the conference championship game, but we'll see. We're going to talk about the rest of the NFL week 1 in a little bit. But This Bills team, that was a magical moment to start the season. Like, there's some, how the script writers like to do this. And that was an absolutely impossible situation. No way you can win that game, obviously, by the stat that you just gave. And they somehow come back to win that game. Unfreaking believable. So hats off to the Bills and Josh Allen for that one last night. All right, back to let's get to USF. I mean, this is an incredible win for them as they go into Gainesville, come out with a 18-16 win with Nico Gramatica hitting a 20-yard field goal at the end to seal it, and this freaking celebration was on. The videos I saw after the celebration were just incredible on so many ways. I think the USF players stayed in that stadium for about 25 minutes celebrating after the game, as well they should. And that's a monumental win. So now they've beaten Boise State and gone on the road to beat Florida, ranked 13th in the nation. And they did it again with incredible defense. I thought the defense was as physical as it was against Boise. Played really, really well. Got that big stop on third down late in the game. They take Florida out, 3-and-out when Florida has the lead, and then get the ball back. And then Byron Brown just was unstoppable running the football. And he counted for 329 yards, had the big 66-yard throw to Singleton for a touchdown. I thought Byron played a tremendous game. And then that last series, not only did he come up with big run after big run, but they were able to bleed the clock all the way down to not give Florida a chance to retaliate. And then Nico had missed a 58-yarder just short earlier in the game, comes up and bangs this one through. And I know it's only 20, but in that spot, it's still incredibly hard to do. Kind of like Matt Prater last night for Buffalo, which was insane. He literally was kicking in a high school like last week just to stay ready, and then gets on a plane and it goes to Buffalo and kicks.
At 41 years old.
41 years old, and a 41-yarder too. I mean, not a chipper. I mean, that was a good shot. So, but Nico gets the game winner, and then just egregious on that drive. What's my man's name? I wrote it down here. Brendan Bett for the Gators. One of the 11 penalties for 103 yards. He spits in the face of a USF offensive lineman right in front of an official. What is with this spitting that's going on now? What are we doing?
I don't understand it, man. It's just bizarre. But at the end of the day, these are things that I look at. I mean, it's hard not to pinpoint it on the head coach there at the University of Florida, and there's two sides to this. And it's similar to how last week when we were talking about Florida State's win over Alabama, and everybody wanted to make this about Alabama, and now everybody wants to make this about Florida. And
isn't that the way it always goes with the U.S. when an SEC team wins? It's never the other team. It's always they play down.
Right, but I mean, USF was the team that had to go onto the road in a very hostile environment in front of 90,000 people at Steve Spurrier Field on Saturday night. And they had to prove, are we actually for real? Everybody was buying into USF after the win over Boise, but you still had some people going, well, Boise's not the same football team they were last year. Let's see when they play an actual real football team, one that we have ranked 13th in the nation. And Nick Saban on College Game Day was talking about them, and he goes, USF has some dogs on defense. That's what Nick Saban said on College Game Day. And to me, that was the story of this football game. I mean, USF has struggled on that side of the football for as long as I can remember. And under Todd Orlando, they have had just a magnificent turnaround. And the way that they had Florida confused for that entire game. I mean, Florida never felt like they were going to make the big play. They just never felt like they were going to make the big play, and I always felt USF was in it. Even when USF went down 16-15, and if you're a USF fan, you're probably thinking, oh, here we go, close but no cigar. We battle, and now we blow it at the end. I felt like this was different. I just felt like this was different because as Alex
they have a defense.
Because as Alex Golesh continues to say, this ain't the same old South Florida.
Nope.
It's not.
Channeling his inner Amir, and there feels something magical and spiritual about that. I don't know why, but it just does. I mean, this is kind of a magical beginning, and Alex has kind of been leaning on his Amirisms from the beginning, which is kind of interesting. But He's embracing it fully, and why not? There's something magical going on here at USF.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. Because now, even if they go to Miami and lose, at 2-1 with a win at an SEC opponent like that and a win over a Boise team, which I think is going to end up being a really good team, they're at the end of the year, if they can go through their conference, and I can leave room for one more loss, but still get to the conference championship, win that.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, I'm already giving them an L next week in Miami, and I don't know why. I mean, if they
I do think it's a little disrespectful that they're an 18.5-point underdog against Miami to start.
Again?
Yes, again.
The easiest money in the history of money.
I think that's a little disrespectful.
That's a lot disrespectful.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I think Miami's a hell of a football team, and that's going to be – I mean, I always felt that way. I felt going in that USF would give Florida a fight because they always do, and then I thought in the third game there was a potential they could get blasted. That was my initial feeling come into it, but you didn't give Florida a fight. You were the better football team, and you won on the road. So now I have to change the outlook again. I don't know if you're going to beat Miami. Do I think 18.5 is outrageous? Yes, I do, because the USF Bulls are here to play, and they're up to number 18 in the AP poll. And I got news for you: they should be higher than 18. If we're basing this off, no, I see you. I'll keep talking. But if you win 2 ranked games to start the season, one of them on the road and the other in dominating fashion, yeah, you should be higher than 18. There's nobody else that's got a better resume than you. There aren't 2 other teams that have a better resume than what USF has right now. But listen, USF fans have been hurting for a long time, so they'll take it today. And just knowing the fact that they got the right guy in charge. Alex Golesh is the right man to lead the football team, and I wanted to play this sound today, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
It's about a minute and a half long, so it's a little long, but I think it's really enlightening. He was asked about how he's been soaking up the past 2 weeks, and he gets a little emotional sort of talking about it.
So I started out as a high school coach, man. A lot of people have done a lot to help me get to this point. It's never been about me. And you ask anybody I've ever worked with, I've ever been with, my wife, if I ever made it about me, she would smack the living crap out of me. It's about servant leadership. It's about giving more of yourself than ever taking from the group. I'm living my dream every day. And I got an incredible wife and 2 amazing kids and an incredible staff and an administration that believes in what we're doing. We've got support. I truly feel like I got the best job in the country. I really do. So I enjoy walking into the office every day. I enjoy the camaraderie. Guys like Joel Gordon, who chose to come here and stay here, and Cody Burns and Hoodie, who I've known from being a player to now. An incredible offensive line coach at Todd Orlando, who I used to coach against and respect so much. And go down the list. I'm blessed. I'm fortunate. I'm so lucky, I guess, to be in this position, but I've also worked really hard to get here. I'm just really, really humbled to continue to serve our players and continue to serve this university. And I don't know. I feel really blessed.
All right, is that it?
Yeah.
Great stuff from Alex Golesh right there. That was emotional. Man, I don't want to say it. Dan Orlovsky's already said it, and people get mad at me for saying it. So I guess I'm not going to say it, but everybody's asking, where's he going? And from what I just heard right there, maybe he's not going anywhere.
I feel like it's wrong to have that conversation today.
It totally is.
It's so wrong because USF has been waiting for someone like this to, be the leader of this program. And like I said, he's undoubtedly the right guy. And USF has become, we're 2 weeks into the season. USF is the story of college football right now. Just think about that. And this is like perfect timing because, you have the stadium that is starting to go through and everything. Now you've put the winning product on the field. USF is now in conversations to make the college football playoff. That's where they are right now. That's the story. that's the story for USF. We can worry about all that stuff down the road, but for right now, enjoy this because South Florida has got this thing rolling again.
Yeah, it was a hell of a win. And the way they're doing it, the first two games with defense, physical defense, they're so much better up front defensively than they've ever been. They've got some size up there, and they may have the best two inside linebackers, certainly in the conference, maybe in the nation. Those two guys, Chuler and Hess in the middle, they are tackling machines, and they're really, really good football players. So I don't think it's a fluke. You win two. Obviously, it's not a fluke, but I don't think this is a fluke. They just got to stay healthy because one or two key injuries will really affect them. They've just got to stay healthy. And even if they could just come through this Miami game healthy, even if they don't get the win, they're still in tremendous shape moving forward. Yeah. And Danny Cannell had him in as he has a resume top 10 just by resume of what you've done this year or performance, I guess he calls it, whatever it is. By this year, I don't think anybody else has two top 25 wins, do they? No. USF is the only one.
No, that's why I'm saying 18's great, but they should be higher than 18.
I think they should. I absolutely should. And these preseason polls, these in week 2 are kind of silly, but why not? They're silly polls anyway, so give them the respect that they deserve. Yeah. How do we know they're not a really, really good football team? Same thing with FSU. They beat a terrible team, East Texas State A&M, which, by the way, SMU can only score 42 points on. They beat them 42-13. FSU scored 10 consecutive drives, touchdowns, 77 points.
They had the starters out of the game after 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that was all backups. So Castellanos threw 2 tremendous deep balls. So he's completed 3 deep balls in the first 2 games, and everybody said he couldn't throw the deep ball. He had the big one to Squirrel White to open the game at Alabama, which is a huge throw, and then he had 2 great throws to Deuce Robinson on Saturday. I don't care who you're playing. You're hitting guys in stride there, especially when you're about to get smoked. You get a rusher right in your face, and you make 2 of those throws. Castellanos has been extremely impressive. And this FSU defense also, I thought, was tremendous. So now they don't have 2 top 25 wins, but they got the win over Alabama. And then when you score 77, that's what you should do. But that's what you should do when you're an elite team. So I don't know how good this FSU team is, but I expect them to beat the brakes off of Kent State this week. And then they got Virginia, who looks to be like a pretty good team. They got a nice quarterback. They got to go up there on a Friday night. So, take care of that business. And then they got Miami at home.
Yeah. And that game, if you look at the schedule, I pretty much need to go ahead and just say that's going to be College game day. I don't see how in the world it wouldn't be. And that's going to be a crazy atmosphere up there in Tallahassee.
ESPN will never do it again here in Tallahassee.
No, they're going to – if both teams are undefeated that week, they're going to be both well inside the top 10. Miami will be in the top 5. Florida State will be knocking on the heels of it. That's going to be the biggest Miami-Florida State game in the last 25 years.
We'll see. I agree with you. It should be a no-brainer, but also Lee Corso's last game at Tallahassee should have been a no-brainer too.
Well, all right, so I feel like we praised USF, got the Florida State talk, and of course the other side of this is Florida, of course.
Right.
I guess this is how I.
Let's hit the break before we.
Yeah, let's hit the break, and I'll give you my spiel on that.
By the way, Michael LaRue has a very good point here. He says Jamel Dean, $13 million a year, averaging 1.3 interceptions a year. Carlton Davis, $15 million a year, average 1.5 interceptions a year. Zion McCollum, $16 million a year, averaging 0.67 interceptions a year. We pay for covering and playing the run, I guess.
Is Ben Morrison healthy
not
yet?
About picking off passes.
Ben Morrison healthy yet? Is Ben Morrison healthy yet? Can we see him? I know he can catch the football.
God, please. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to ask the question, should Billy Napier still be employed by the University of Florida? And what's John Gruden doing these days? We will ponder those things when we come back. We are brought to you by the great folks at Riveters. They were packed all weekend. I went to get my Riveters wings before we watched the game at Kingmakers yesterday. Oh, the blue cheese. The buffalo sauce. So good. Thank you to Riveters. Got the cheese fries, too. Had to get the chili cheese fries. Oh, my Lord. Riveters Food, takeout, on the weekends if you want to just go and bring it home. It's awesome, which I did yesterday, bring it to the party. Or just sit down and watch the games there. Absolutely phenomenal atmosphere. Great prices, great food. It's Riveters, the official sports bar of the JP Peterson Show. Back in 3 with our UF talk.
The Gold and Diamond Source is working every day to be your family jeweler. Right now, a $5,000 engagement ring with 0% interest can be yours for just $83. So don't let the holidays sneak up on you this year. Now is the time to get ahead with their in-store layaway. Trade in your old jewelry for cash. Gold has never been higher. The Gold and Diamond Source is offering the highest ever trade-in values for your gold and diamond jewelry. Now is the time to get your holiday shopping started. So come in now, relax, shop, and save at the Gold and Diamond Source. We love Julie and Steve Weintraub, great local philanthropists, and you can find them at 3800 Olmerton Road in Clearwater, where you'll always find the perfect gift, only at the Gold and Diamond Source. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American standard air conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Football Monday, I guess we call it. Incredible things over the weekend to talk about. You guys can jump in, as you always do, in the comment section on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X at the JP Peterson Show. We'll get to a lot more of your comments here in just a little bit. Big thanks to our great sponsors, Genesis of Tampa, You got to have a Genesis. Get it? GOT, Genesis September. Anyway, I was with Michael Murphy yesterday, and he said, we just had our biggest weekend at the Genesis of Tampa. I said, of course, because we started advertising on the JP Peterson Show. You think that's a coincidence? Absolutely not. But you got to get down there. A great lease values, great Genesis cars. It's 801 East Bears Avenue. They're making deals. So go look at these incredible cars. They are top of the line at a fraction of the cost of the Range Rovers and Lexus and Mercedes-Benz, and they are just tremendously built cars. Genesis. I've owned one. I absolutely loved it. I think I'm going to own another one soon. Cannot wait. So go to Genesis of Tampa and tell them JP sent you. All right. So Billy Napier is now 20-20. As I look at this article that was written on fanstreamsports.com by the great Tim Ham. Go to the new website, by the way, fanstreamsports.com. You'll have coverage of all your local teams in one spot and not behind a paywall. So we're very proud of our new website. Check it out, fanstreamsports.com. As Tim pointed out, the Gators committed 11 penalties for 103 yards. Egregious. 2 massive infractions on the final drive, including the spitting in the face of another opponent. That was not good. Final minutes of the game, needing to run out the clock. Napier called 2 pass plays that went incomplete, both to Vernell Brown. What are we doing? That began the Florida meltdown after missing a go-ahead field goal on their previous offensive possession. The Bulls got the ball back, drove it all the way down, as we mentioned, kicked the game-winning field goal. But on the 66-yard touchdown pass, clearly the Gator defense was not ready. They were still trying to line up. That was another mental error. There were a lot of mental errors, and I thought Golish outcoached Napier in every way, and I think this is why the Florida fans are just so upset. Look, Napier's done a lot of good stuff. He's recruited well. They had a great finish to the end of last season. There are times when I really think, okay, he's the guy. And then the games start, and it's not about recruiting. It's not about talent. And he just seemed his teams don't play disciplined. They don't play smart. They make a lot of mental gaffes. And yesterday or Saturday's game was a lot of that. And I think that's one of the big reasons why Florida fans are just so upset. And they want John Gruden to be their coach.
Well, I don't know if that's the thing. But you've kind of stole my thunder there because I stole your stat earlier and you stole my thunder.
Yes.
Because
Sorry.
the way I was going to put this, and for any of the wrestling fans out there, you might understand this, how I'm going to point this out. And I think even you will too, JP.
Okay.
In wrestling, there's a thing where you see a talent and they might have a great entrance. They might have a great, ring gear. They might have a great look to them. They look the part. They look beautiful, right?
Right.
And then they have a saying. Then the bell rings. And you said, Billy Napier, recruiting's great. The program makeup looks great. Great mentality, all that kind of stuff. And then the game starts. And what are you? You're mid. You're 20-20. And
20-20.
You were exactly 20-20. Previous records after 40 games, Florida coaches. Urban Meyer was 31-9. Will Muschamp was 24-16. Jim McElwain was 22-12 and was fired before game 40. And Dan Mullen was 31-9.
Wow.
20-20. And the most beautiful thing about year 4, in year 4, you've had enough time to build the program the way you see fit. You've had enough time to build a roster that is your guys, the ones you wanted, your coaches, all that kind of stuff. Basically, what I'm saying is there's no excuses. There's none.
There's a lot of talent in Florida.
There's a lot of talent. There's first-round picks all over that roster. And you see the schedule they have coming up. You had to win the USF game.
You did.
You had to. There was no excuse to lose this football game on the road at home against USF. And it's changed the entire outlook at this team where some people had Florida as a fringe playoff contender. All of a sudden, the narrative has shifted. They're going to have to fight to make a bowl game again. And I got news for you. If this thing goes quickly south here, given the schedule they have coming up, I don't know if Billy Napier makes it to November. I mean, I'm just being completely honest with you. Right now, You know, Jim McElwain was Sharkgate. Remember the photo of him with humping the shark or whatever on the boat?
Oh, yes.
Jim McElwain was Sharkgate. Dan Mullen was Shoegate. And now Billy Napier is Spitgate. 1, 2, 3 strikes and you're out. All three coaches, all not good enough for a school like the University of Florida. And Scott Strickland, I didn't forget you, buddy. I didn't forget you. He got an extension 3 weeks ago.
Well, they won a
from
basketball
this university.
championship.
He got an extension from this university this offseason. How? Are they going to let this guy hire? Are they going to let this guy hire another head coach in football?
Listen, he did what good athletic directors do. He hired a good basketball coach, and then he swept that Title IX thing right under the rug. Make sure that it didn't derail their basketball season.
Basketball's great and everything, but come on, it's all about football. It just is. Florida cannot be this inept at football. Come on.
Well, listen, like I said, at the end of last year, that was a hell of a run by Florida. And their freaking schedules this year and last year are ridiculous. They're ridiculous. They're actually playing tough SEC teams. Like a lot of these SEC schedules that avoid some of the better teams, they come out looking pretty easy in the long run, but not Florida. They get every tough SEC team on their schedule, and it's freaking brutal. So I feel for him in that way, but it's like that. It's the same thing at FSU, man. There is an expectation, and if you don't meet it, you got to go. You got to go find somebody else. To me, the more intriguing thing is who's the next guy. Now, I'm not allowed to say the guy that just went in there and won because USF people will beat me. But I think there's one, and it's John Gruden. John Gruden wants to coach again. And he said an SEC team, he went to Georgia. Who else did he talk to? I think Alabama. Did he go to Florida? I don't know. I don't think Napier will let him in the building because he might not leave. Be like, yeah, Jimmy Christmas, get out of this office. It's mine. I don't know. I firing a guy mid-season is never great, but in this day and age, when you have the first signing period in December, you almost have to. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he's getting fired this week, but they got to go.
Did they look like they were playing hard for him on Saturday?
No. And there was some. I didn't look too deep into it, but I think there was some clips on social media where some players were doing some questionable things on their social media after the game. Gator players, I'm talking about. So I don't know if there's some dissension within the program, but man, that was. And I don't want to say again. I don't want to take anything away from USF. I don't. I think that was a good.
It's two separate conversations. It's two separate conversations.
Yeah, I want to just oh my God! But to me, it's the way that Florida plays, and it's the egregious mistakes that they make to cost them games, and so many of them are mental and discipline.
Yes. You're undisciplined. You make the worst plays in the worst moments. And those are the signs. And the timeout management at the end of the game. Good Lord, man!
Yeah, that was bizarre.
I mean, I think we're all. I was watching that game from the UCF press box, and everybody was tuned in on it, and we were all yelling at the TV call the damn timeout, call the timeout. And it's one of those things where 90,000 people in the stadium can see it, millions of people watching at home can see it, and the one guy who has the authority to push it through is sleepwalking.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter to him.
Yeah,
it's mind-boggling.
And it's those things that really rile up the fans, as it should. Getting beat physically by another team, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. When you're out of position on a 66-yard touchdown pass, when some idiot is spitting in somebody else's face at the crucial moment of the game. I mean, these are just – when you go to other programs and you look at like at Alabama, for instance, the way that Saban ran that ship, you think any kid spitting on somebody else's face at any time, let alone a crucial time of the game?
Probably would never play again.
No, it's different. And in certain programs with certain coaches, a lot of details kind of go kind of by the wayside. And that's not.
I see people saying. And I see people saying, well, don't forget, Billy Napier had this thing was sideways last year and they rebounded last year to win 8 games or whatever. Well, you know what? I'm not a Florida fan. I'm not going to claim I'm close to the program, but I don't recall the standard at Florida being, well, we rallied to win 8 games. If that's the standard at the University of Florida, then just close up shop. That's just not how it should be.
No, it was Florida, a tough schedule, and they did rally to win.
I get that, but this is Florida. Fair. This is Florida. This is you were there for Steve Spurrier. You were there for Urban Meyer. You saw this program be the class of college football for a long time, or one of them. And for the last 20 years, they have been spinning their tires.
I agree. There is one thing, though, and I do think this is the thing. I think if you're in college now as a administrator, as an athletic director, I think you have to show patience because of the portal and NIL, and I think you're going to have wild swings in your records. But you got to get a good year. And Billy hasn't had that. He hasn't had it, a 9, 10, 11 win season. He ain't going to have one this year. So you got to sprinkle in one of those if you're the guy. And he just hasn't done that. And there's been a lot of chips against him. The schedule's been ridiculously hard, but you can't lose to USF. And that's why you can't lose to USF. And that's nothing against USF, but you've got to play. I don't know if they underestimated him or what, but I think that's still taking away stuff from USF. USF is a damn good football team, but you're playing at home and everybody can read the schedule and you got to have this one. They were an unranked team, but you got to find a way to win that game. And they found a way to lose it. Yeah. And that's never good. All right, back to the comments. Where's my man Joel Forsland? Says he was in attendance yesterday in Atlanta. Lots of Bucs fan as usual. Nice job showing up. Bantry says Winfield bailed Dean out on that play. Listen, I don't know the exact call, but I think it looked like maybe Dean was supposed to carry the deep receiver down the sideline. I'm not sure. It might have been Winfield's play. It depends on the call, so we don't know that for sure. Dean may have been playing the front zone. And in that case, you let the guy go deep and it's the safety's guy. So we don't know, but you might be right. There were plenty of other bad plays by Jamel Dean, but he made some good plays too. James says Chase might be back to his old 3-year-old self. Not good. I'm not going to say that about McLaughlin. I mean, I was kind of half joking about Riley Dixon being the new holder, but it is a new holder. And I do think one of those snaps was a little bad, but he just, he rarely misses. I'm not going to say that's a problem. Joel says big issues on defense. A win hides that, unfortunately, for most fans. I get it. And that's why I said that, Joel, is I don't want to, the narratives that we talk about on this show, we should talk about win or loss. Listen, winning the game matters. There's no question about it. I mean, that's the most important thing, duh. And they made key plays. If we're going to knock Todd Bowles every time he loses a close game, then we're going to praise him when he wins a close game. And they made, Baker made a couple of incredible plays down the stretch, and the defense made some plays too. They were in that freaking red zone for 6-8 plays.
Yeah.
So the defense made some plays too, and it was razor thin, but they got it done.
And even last year, those were games they lost last year. Like, I'm telling you. I mean, we saw it. Remember, at one point we were talking about how the Bucs were like 2-6 or something like that in one-score games. Like, they lost a lot of those games last year, and it contributed to them only winning 10 games when they probably could have won, maybe 12 or 13 if things went their way. So at least now, like, they corrected that in this one. But I think we all acknowledge the win is nice. And you're right. It does hide some of the things that showed up on tape. But I think the coaching staff and the players know that was not their best yesterday, and they got away with one.
Yeah, exactly. It's better to learn when you win than lose.
Right.
Michael LaRue says, if a player dives, the ball should stay live until he's touched down. Spotting it where the dive starts doesn't align with how the end zone dives. First down dives or dive fumbles are actually ruled. Yeah, I totally agree with this. And we're talking about the Penix catch. And hopefully we'll get maybe a little clarity from Bowles on this one today, because typically they'll have conversations with the officials or officials representative after the game. They'll send in plays and then they'll get explanations from, how they ruled this. But what I heard them rule when the guy talked about it, because it was reviewed, when the official talked about it, he said the player gave himself up. And again, a lot of these rules are ambiguous, but I don't think you give yourself up when you're diving for the end zone, right? I mean, you have to be touched down. And he wasn't. And that ball came out before it crossed the line and went through the end zone. Winfield picked it up, but he was standing out of bounds. So that to me was like a player diving, wasn't touched, hits the ground before the ball crosses the end zone, loses the ball, and it goes through the end zone. Should have been a touchback, right?
That's what I thought. But again, the whole way it was sort of explained, I didn't really understand. And
now if you're giving yourself up, okay, at what point? So if you're giving yourself up on a slide, when you start the slide, that's where the ball is marked. So when he starts his dive, that's well before the first down marker.
Yeah.
And well before it. So is that, which leads me to believe you can't give yourself up if you're diving. I know this is a ridiculous conversation, but we have to get into the minutia to get the proper. It seems like they creatively melded two rules together, the giving yourself up rule and not fumbling at the line at the end line. I don't know.
I will say
like
the other
was very weird.
Well, I will say the other part of this is if you're Savasier Dennis in that moment, I mean, just
hit him.
Easy. I'm going to say easy for me to say, but make contact with him, like just anything to like get him out of bounds, and we're all good. And there's no controversy here whatsoever. And that play doesn't end up being the one that loses the Bucs football game. That was my thing. It's like at the end of the day, that drive was really wacky. But you're a defense that was on the field for 18 plays in 9 minutes. At some point throughout that time, you've got to make some sort of play. You just have to.
Well, they did. They had two plays on the quarterback that were called roughing the passer, which were ridiculous.
They did,
ridiculous.
But they did, but that play was right there for Savasier Dennis to make, and he didn't make it, and you left it into New York's hands to make a call, and we know that when that happens, usually nothing good comes out of it. So the Bucs are really fortunate that, again, like they got away with that, or with that.
True that. All right, James says Dean is the starter because Morrison can't get healthy. If refs called PI on Dean on that play, JP, that would have been the worst call ever. How do you say that? You have a receiver running down the field at full speed. Dean is squatting, and he knows he's going to run by him. While the ball's in the air, he reaches out and impedes him, and the ball comes up overthrown. That's the definition of pass interference. And how it didn't get called, I have no idea. That easily could have been called, and we'd be having a much different narrative today on Jamel Dean. Joel Forsland says Stroud struggled in year 2, struggled yesterday. He'll throw for 300 yards on a Bulls defense next week. Talking about Houston, obviously, next week. Prime time, Monday Night Football. What do you think? Michael LaRue says Falcons had more first downs, total yards, and time of possession, plus 0 turnovers. Bucs D is still soft. I agree. The defense did not impress me yesterday, except maybe in the end when they got some plays to win it. But no, I think it seemed like a lot of the same to me. If I'm being honest, and they did. Listen, I'll say this: they held the Falcons to 20 points. They did not let Bijan Robinson run wild in the rushing game. So they did some good things. And by the way, that fourth down that Vita Vea blew up, what are you doing? How are you running into the strength of the Bucs defense on 4th and 1 and running it to Vita Vea? Like what? He absolutely destroyed whatever that guy in black was in front of him, that 330-pound, whoever that guy was, either the center or guard, that just got meekly pushed 3 yards into the backfield to blow up the whole play. By the way, Reddick was really good on that play as well. I thought Reddick played really well in against the run. Everybody's looking for sacks, but go look at his run defense. He played really well against the run, and that was one of the plays. So that was that. But that was that's a defensive play they made that they had to have. So I like that part of it. But for the most part, I think we saw more soft coverage and more dropped interceptions. I mean, I gotta go look through the whole thing again. I'll watch the all 22 today, but
soft coverage, missed interceptions, ineffective
first play of the
pass
game.
rush. I mean, yeah.
First play of the game, they go 5 wide, they go empty. Bijan Robinson's on the right side, and Zion backing up at the snap. He's 12 yards.
And there were some other times.
Slant, 10 yards. Hello.
And there were some other times in critical moments, and it was especially on those last 2 drives where, listen, I understand you have to rotate guys in and whatnot, but there were some big plays on that 18-play drive where I looked on the field and I'm like, why am I seeing Greg Gaines, Anthony Nelson, and Chris Brasbo on the field and not Vita Vea, Hassan Reddick, and Yaya Diaby? Like and of course it was like on third downs and stuff like that where I was just like, what are we doing here? Again, I understand you got to rotate and stuff, but situations matter. If it's third down on a drive like that, I want the best guys out there because the drop off to Greg Gaines, Anthony Nelson, and Chris Braswell is very steep because those 3 players did like nothing yesterday for you.
Okay, some other thoughts from some new folks. Mike H says, tap the brakes on Bucs Super Bowl run. It's one game. There's a lot of bad football out there this weekend. James says, Reddick sack on third down, forced a field goal. Huge sack. Yeah, they made some plays defensively, and I thought Reddick had a really good game. I don't know what he graded out at, but I thought he had a really good game. Joel Forsland said, I'd like to know how many times we ran Bucky up the middle on first down. It seemed like a lot. I think he varied the play calling for the most part. It just wasn't – I didn't think they could consistently run off the left side in the second half. I think that that was the one thing. The new look offensive line they played really well in pass blocking sets, but in run blocking, they were the weakness of the team, and that graded out. Is that how it graded out that way?
Yeah, like Michael Jordan, how I mentioned, was tops in pass blocking. He was the worst in run blocking, and next to Graham Barton. Yeah, so I thought the run in the first half, they had a couple of, and again, they had 2 or 3, at least 2 big runs called back, which, that was 22 yards of rushing. That would have put us up, close to 130. So let's recall that. But yeah, it just seemed like in the second half when they wanted to try to get it going, they couldn't get it going. Joel Forsland says, watching in person, you could see Mech was open on so many plays early in the game. Yeah, I thought that Baker missed guys. Baker was great in the clutch and made some great plays, but I also think he left a lot out there, and he said so as much after the game. Evans was open on a couple of throws that he didn't pull the trigger on. Emeka saved him one time over the middle on a crosser where he threw it behind him and high, and somehow he reached back and got it. That was a great ball. He threw a ball up the middle to Mike Evans behind him on a crosser that Diablo got both hands on. Yeah, a couple times he could 3 or 4 interceptions maybe that he got away with in that one.
I think he had probably 3 turnover-worthy plays in the game and got away with it. So, yeah. John O'Leary says screenplays, no way with O-line mixed up. Surely they didn't practice a line blocking for screens. Yeah, maybe that's why they didn't call a lot of screens. That's a good point, Johnny, because that's usually and I don't want to put that on the play caller because maybe they didn't feel that because those do take a lot of practice and timing when you're talking about screens for offensive line. So a lot of different guys in different places. They probably Josh Grzard probably had to simplify a lot of the playbook.
Yeah, and we'll see how let's see how this holds up because we'll have plenty of time to look ahead to week 2. But for what it's worth, this was not a good Atlanta pass rush last year. We know that, and this year it was 2 rookies and James Pierce Jr. And Jalen Walker, and forgetting the veteran's name that they brought in as well in the offseason. But point being, next week you face Houston, and that's one of the best tandem pass rushing duos in the league in Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. So again, they were great this week. Will it be the same next week? Something to keep in mind when you get to Houston.
All right, we got another super chat. Thank you, Meets McGee. You guys can do that as well on YouTube. Said I told Falcons fans we could have easily blown them out 34-13, 2 missed field goals plus that missed touchdown to Auden. Dennis not stopping penalties at the goal line. I don't know, Meets. I think last year they won 2 games against us. The Falcons did that. Maybe we should have won both of them. So I think this was a little bit of a regression to the mean, if you will. I don't think we were blowing them out 34. They outgained us 356 to 340 to 260. We only had 260 total yards of offense. When you have 260 yards of total offense and you don't force any turnovers, like I don't know if you can look that up, Nick, but I bet you're not winning a whole lot of games. When you have 260 yards total of offense and you don't force any turnovers and the other team scores 20 points, I'm not sure you're winning a lot of those games. So I don't think – I would disagree with you on – I don't think the Bucs were the dominant team and should have won 34-13. I will disagree, but thank you for the $5 super chat. Speaking of bowls, he is 5-0 opening games with the Bucs. How about that? That's pretty good.
I did see this. I did see this real quick based on I didn't find that exact stat, but Greg Allman had this. Bucs were 1-30 all time when they had a time of possession under 25 minutes and didn't force a turnover. And they obviously won that game. And then also NFL teams over the last 5 seasons that have had the ball less than 25 minutes and didn't force a turnover were 11-158. So
11-158. So there you go.
Yeah.
How about that? So that's a game that so you almost say, how the hell do we win this game? And it's just making key plays.
Exactly what I said yesterday. Oh, and by the way, we didn't even mention it. Hello to the Bucs kick or punt return game. Hello, Cam Johnson. We had a 55-yard punt return. I haven't seen anything like that from the Bucs punt returner in so long. My goodness.
That was huge. That was a game winner.
Yeah.
You know, to your point, the 260 yards, obviously the 54-yard punt return's not in those yards. So that's hidden yardage that they got that, you know, that was a huge play. Without that play, I don't think the Bucs win the game. They almost took it to the house too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cam, and this is, you know, remember we kind of said, like, why is Cam Johnson on this team? Isn't Tez the same guy? And now you know, they just feel like Cam is a little bit better than Tez right now. And think about it. Cam's a little bit bigger, and he's a year experienced. Tez is still a rookie, and you saw that would-be catch. He did, you know, you got to catch it clean, and he did not catch it clean, and it cost the Bucs. So, yeah, God bless Cam Johnson. That was huge. Mike H says it's hard for a rookie offensive coordinator to smoothly run the game. Yep, I agree. Especially when you have a reshifted offensive line. I mean, think about that. They take 3 guys and put them in different positions, you know, 2 weeks before the opener. And, again, there's no way you're going to have the full playbook at your disposal, and especially with screenplays. That was a really good point by you, O'Leary. Got to give you credit for that. So that's the reason why we didn't see – those are real timing plays. And when you got a bunch of new guys in new positions, it's hard to do. Mike H says the refs had a bad day across the league. That was a terribly officiated game by the Buccaneers and Falcons on so many levels. Let's see. Joel Fortner says he hit the ground, but he had control while he did. Burt Emanuel rule. That's a catch. Which one are we talking about?
I think he was talking about
the end zone catch. Yeah, the end zone catch. Now, I don't – how do you say he had control when the ball was falling down his leg? That's not control. Now, you're saying he grabbed it on the way down and controlled it again after he lost it? Well, that might have happened, but we didn't see evidence of that. Did you? I didn't.
No, we didn't get a look at it. We didn't get a look at it. I only was, like I said, from what I said, it's like I may think that he ended up catching the ball, but we just never got a good shot at it. So at that point, it's call on the field.
Okay, Jordan G says, I forgot that diving is giving yourself up. The rule book is clear on it. 7 years ago, it changed. I looked it up. I was surprised by the rule book. It's the right call. All right, well, then where are you spotting the ball? If you're giving yourself up on the dive, so it's where the ball, I think the ball hit first before his body did. So so it's down right there and it's dead? And the ball, there's no fumble after it? If that's the new rule, I wasn't aware of it. I was not aware of that. Yeah. Jordan G says 9 out of 10 times that's a touchback. I agree. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back on the other side. I want to get to the rest of the comments here. We'll get through that. We'll talk a little bit of Rays baseball too. I think are they cooked now? Are they cooked now? They might be after this weekend against the Guardians. And we'll talk a little bit about the other stories around the league and the NFC South. I want to remind you folks about a new advertiser that we have called Delete Me. If I can get to the live read right here. Anyway, we'll do it. We'll do it right now. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off your data. Data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now, special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off Delete Me plan by texting HIT to 64,000. The only way to get 20% off is to text HIT, H-I-T, to 64,000. That's HIT to 64,000. Message and data rates apply. Back in 3.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles! 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, Give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and our good friend Chris Lugo, my concierge doctor. Very proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise. Do not go for the one pill fits-all mentality. You want to approach fits-all. He does everything individually. Looks at your blood work, sees where you're deficient, prescribes the supplements and whatever activities in terms of diet and physical activity that you need. It's a great approach to medicine, especially now, folks, when insurance companies are just trying to shuffle you through. Have a concierge doctor like I do and Chris Lugo, a Bay Area Modern Medical Center, who can direct all of your health decisions and give you personal, and I mean personal, attention. Just had him check in with me over the weekend on my diet and how everything's going. Doctors checking in on you, like that ever happens. Right? But it does if you have Chris Lugo, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. So go to BAMMC.com and get your free consultation. They'll tell you how it works. Concierge medicine is where it is at. All right. Less expensive than you think, too. It's well worth it. All right. It was interesting. I was perusing Twitter, and evidently Mario Cristobal was doing his opening week press conference at USF, and he's like, hey, they got a quarterback that hasn't thrown an interception in 240 attempts, which I think is I think he either owns the record or is coming up on it. And they have a whole new defensive line in the portal. He was building up USF like they're a top 10 team, which they very well may be. Do you think we'd have a conversation 2 weeks in that says, hey, USF and FSU might make the playoff? Did you see that coming?
There was a reality where we lived in where USF dropped the first 3 games of the season, but we were all saying, oh, wait, they might actually still be a good team. It's just the teams they played.
Yeah.
That was actually the other conversation we had. So, no.
Crazy where we're at in college football right now. So USF jumps in at number 18 and FSU moves into the top 10. I didn't see that coming either, partner.
Crazy.
In week 2, but they deserve it. They really deserve it. The portal can be a beautiful thing, no question about it. All right, where else do you want to go? You have some other thoughts you wanted to hit?
I think we pretty much gave my comments there on the Bucs and everything. If you want to get to the rest of the league a little bit yesterday,
yeah,
we can do that.
By the way, my game 1 coming off my fantasy runner-up finish last year in our big league, played Smoltz in week 1. He's like, my team is terrible. I drafted a receiver who retired, and got freaking boat raced. He boat raced me. It was the worst performance. My team was awful. I had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase combined for 11 points. Yeah, combined.
Well, it could be worse. I'm like in a dynasty league and I'm tanking. I'm supposed to be tanking, like trying to get the number 1 overall pick in the next year's rookie draft. So I intentionally gutted my team, and I faced one of the best teams in our league this week, and I've already wrapped up the win, and I'm pissed off about it. I need to be tanking. Like I couldn't win last year to save my life when I actually had players, and now I'm winning with, the scraps that I've put together just to field a lineup for this year. But it is what it is. I'll tell you this. Speaking of the NFL stuff we saw this weekend, it's week 1 overreaction time. They tell you not to overreact, but I have a take that I feel pretty confident. And I can't believe I'm saying this after 1 week, but I'm feeling it. I think this is finally the year where everything has caught up to the Chiefs, and I'm ready to say it. I'm ready to say it, JP.
Really?
Xavier Worthy has a dislocated shoulder and is now out.
Wow.
Rashee Rice is suspended. Travis Kelce is old.
Washed.
They do not have a dude up front that can win other than Chris Jones, and Chris Jones is also getting up there in age. Don't love what they have in the secondary outside of Trent McDuffie. They got picked apart by Justin Herbert, who I thought that's the best I've ever seen him play.
Woo! He looked fantastic.
And I think the AFC has a lot of really strong teams at the top. I'm just saying, like the Chiefs are a great example of all the Super Bowls they've won have covered up some of the questionable drafting that they have had throughout this time. They have not exactly drafted well, and I think that's caught up to them because now they have a lot of injuries. They don't have a dude at edge rusher. I think this is the year that it catches up to the Chiefs. I think I'm ready to say that now. And even though Mahomes played fantastic, I thought on Friday, and maybe he reverts back into his superpower self, his superhuman self, like he did on Friday at times, and that's enough. But I think it catches up to them. That's my week 1 overreaction.
Yeah, I agree. The Ravens looked so good last night against the Bills until the fourth quarter where they let them score 16 unanswered points. That was still an incredible performance by Lamar and Derrick Henry. And I still see them as maybe the best team in the AFC, but you can't lose games like that. And I was surprised that their defense was, but I don't even know if it was more their defense than just good. I mean, I watched the game. Josh Allen was ridiculous. I mean, some of those throws were just insanely good. Like, I don't know if you have a defense for that. And the running and everything, it was just, it was insane.
Here's what's concerning. The Ravens, this is not a one-off thing. The Ravens lose games like this a lot, more so than you might think. And this is evident by the fact that since 2021, they have lost 8 games where their win probability late in the game has been at least 90%. That's 3 more than the next closest team. Their playoff woes are well documented. They cannot beat the Buffalo. Similar to how both teams can't beat Kansas City, they can't beat Buffalo. I mean, this is a trend for the Ravens. When they get into they look like the best team in the league for 3 quarters, and in some of these big games in the fourth quarter, they just completely sort of fall apart. And I understand Josh Allen is phenomenal, but you had the lead. You had a 15-point lead with 3.5 minutes to go. Like, you got to close that out, man. You got to. So I don't know. I think the Ravens are still a great team, and they're going to be there. Of course, they're going to win their usual 13, 14 games. But I think it's something to point out that for whatever reason, in these big games late, they're just not up to it.
Yeah, and Harbaugh made a 4th and 2 decision that he probably would want back. I mean, every time we talk about these 4th down decisions, we always laud them. But this one definitely blew up in their face, and it led to the game-winning touchdown. So game management, man, game management. I mean, players have to go play, and I get that, but game management matters. It really does. What else kind of shook you? I mean, the Bengals defense actually was pretty damn good yesterday, and that surprised me.
Yeah, they finally got a win in week 1, barely, but I don't think they're going to apologize for that. I think the thing that honestly blew everybody away was the Dolphins-Colts game. I mean, holy hell!
Yeah, that was brutal.
Wow. Week 1 to look that unprepared in every phase of the football game. The Dolphins, I mean, there was a lot of noise last year. Tyreek Hill, not it. I mean,
Tua was awful.
Tua was horrible yesterday. Tyreek Hill was pissed. Mike McDaniel just has the look of a guy that just is a dead man walking. Like, there's just no way he survives this. And he doesn't strike me as, it's hard to quantify what leader of men, is sometimes. I can tell you it ain't what Mike McDaniel is. It's just not.
No, it's not. And it just, like, when they're rolling, it's like Miami. You know how I often say sometimes your team emulates the culture of your city?
Yeah.
Miami is the biggest front-runner city in the world. I mean, when teams are going good, the arenas are packed. Everybody wants to be seen there. And when they're not, they're not. And the Dolphins are kind of the same way. When things are rolling, everybody's puffing out their chest and everybody's doing backflips and Mike McDaniel's, running off the field like some conquering hero and everybody's like, ooh, look at the Dolphins. And I'm like, the whole time they've been going through this, I'm like, they're pretenders. They've always been pretenders. They're still pretenders until they get some backbone on that team and some culture and some real, they're the flash and dash Tua, Tyreek Hill, that Waddle. That's what they are.
They're not even that, but they're not that anymore. Tyreek Hill today is officially 1 year since Tyreek Hill has had a catch of over 30 yards. They're not even that anymore. And Daniel Jones, my goodness, they scored a touchdown on every possession of the game that he was in. No other quarterback this century has led a team to that. I just said the century has scored something on every possession they were in the football game. Daniel Jones did that yesterday against the Miami Dolphins.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Bengals win 17-16 behind a lackluster performance from Burrow. Chase had 2 catches yesterday, but they get the win because the Browns are the Browns.
Right.
Pretty simple. Colts beat the Dolphins 33-8, just an absolute whitewash, ugly. The Raiders beat the Patriots at home. How about Geno Smith? And I think the Raiders are actually going to be a much improved team this year, and the Patriots get off to a rough start.
Yeah, it's because they have grown-ups all over the place. They have a grown-up at quarterback. They have a grown-up at head coach. They have John Beck as the GM. And by the way, you can make fun of Tom Brady all you want and question his role in the organization. Tom Brady is not going to align himself with dysfunction. So that already tells me that the Raiders have something moving in the right direction. And I'm happy that Geno Smith is getting his due because he is a really, really good quarterback, and he played great yesterday against the Patriots.
The Cardinals beat the Saints in New Orleans 20-13. Spencer Rattler was 27 of 46 for just 214 yards. They threw a lot, but not very well. The Cardinals get the win 20-13. Steelers beat the Jets 34-32 in a wild one. Aaron Rodgers with 4 touchdown passes, 22 of 30, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. Wow. I thought Justin Fields played pretty well as well. 32 points for the Jets. Usually, where's the Jets defense? Or are the Steelers that good? I was impressed by Aaron Rodgers. I was impressed.
How can you not? And he said after the game, I wanted to beat everyone associated with the Jets. So that one meant a lot to him. But I did not have that on my bingo card until the late game. That was the game of the week. That one looked like a very middling affair early on, but that was great.
The Steelers scored 17 in the fourth quarter to win it. The Commanders beat the Giants 21-6. Jane Daniels 19 of 30, 233 yards, 1 touchdown. Not a overwhelming performance, but a solid performance by the Commanders and the Giants. Giants have a good defense. They just
you want to read the Giants box score? Russell Wilson 17 of 37 for 168 yards.
Jesus, it's a lot of dump downs. Yeah, and evidently Dayball has not said who's going to start next week.
Nope, did not commit to Russell Wilson
or Jackson Dart or Jameis Winston.
It'll be Dart.
I heard some scuttlebutt that Jameis was going to start yesterday.
Yeah, no, he's the third guy. The other division matchup was the Jaguars and the Panthers facing the Jaguars. Jaguars just really took it to them. The Panthers, Bryce Young in week 1 has 7 turnovers and only 3 touchdowns. This guy is horrible in week 1, and he was like that again yesterday. Everybody talking up the Panthers all offseason, and Bryce Young, just because he played well at the end of last year doesn't mean he's done anything. There's still a lot to prove, and that was a really bad start for Carolina and Dave Canales yesterday, and a great start for Liam Cohen in the battle of former Bucs offensive coordinators.
Yeah, Travis Etienne, 16 carries, 143 yards. So they got the ground game going in Jacksonville, just like, Liam got the ground game going in Tampa Bay. It's interesting. Yep. Trevor Lawrence was 19 of 31, just 178 yards and 1 touchdown, but efficient. So short passing, get the run game going. Sound familiar from Liam Cohen? Yeah. Broncos beat the Titans 20-12. RJ Harvey, your UCF boy, 6 carries, 70 yards. I think he's a thing. I think he's going to be a thing for the Broncos. And they're Bo Nix, 25 of 40 for 176 yards and 1 touchdown.
He was reckless yesterday. very reckless yesterday.
Did he have some dropped?
Drop
interceptions.
Yeah, he threw two and some others. His quarterback rating was 19.2 in that football game. Only outdone by Cam Ward, who had a 7.4 quarterback rating for the Titans, who just are not very good.
Wow. Yeah, he was 12 of 28 for 112 yards.
Sacked 6 times.
No interception. Yeah, it'll be a tough year for the old Cam Ward there. All right. Anything else on the comments that we wanted to get to? Let's clean up some of these as well. Kevin McClary says they thought the Atlanta defense looked better than they have before. Yeah, they were better, no question about it. But we got the dub. Last night might be a game of the year already. Yeah, Jordan G from that Bills game. That was incredible. What else we got? Yeah, it was a scoregami game for 41-40, first time in history. 41-40, first time in history for that score? ESPN Simulator says Jordan G had Bucs losing to Bills in Super Bowl and making a nice playoff run. Oh, really? I did not know that when I made my pick.
Are you running the simulator, JP? Is there something we don't know?
I guess I must be.
Are you secretly collecting a paycheck from the worldwide leader?
We're collaborating. It's called a collab. That's what we're doing. Never. Kenneth says, I say they need to play in the preseason. People are always worried about injuries. That's part of the game. How many people did we lose just in training camp alone? I believe 3. Yeah, the injuries come anyway. I thought Baker was a little rusty. And I thought, when I asked him last week, are you good not playing in the preseason? He's like, I'm good. And it was just kind of like, I would have rather played maybe, but they got the W, and he'll be better in week 2. That's for sure.
I think to wrap this baby up, I can put this comment here from Jimmy J. Voyager. Just came in. Yes, the Rays are done.
The Rays are done. Thanks to Parker Messick, local Plant City kid who's now beaten them twice in 2 weeks and shut them down.
They're such a tease. I tuned out of the Rays, and then they go on a 7-game win streak, and I even tweeted they're starting to make me believe a little bit that they can do this, and then they of course go get swept at home in Steinbrenner, and Pete Fairbanks' implosion is on. So yeah, it was nice being above 500 for a few days. It was great, but the Rays are going to finish 81-81. I mean, that is what they are.
On the first Big O show, if you haven't seen it, Orestes Estrada now doing a podcast for Tampa Bay, Fantasy Sports Tampa Bay. So check that out on our channel. You will love it. The baseball talk, already the best Rays podcast in town. So I asked him, I said, so what do you think? Are they going to make it? And he says, well, the Rays have had a great history of closing in September, which is true. And I kind of had to take, this is right at the 7, right? They won 7 in a row. I said, I just don't think they're consistent enough. I don't think they can consistently keep this going for the rest of September. Not winning every game, but even winning 3 or 4, because starting pitching has not been consistent. Hitting has not been consistent. Bullpen has been shaky. It just seems that they've been a team of runs. They're really good, and then they're really bad. So that lack of consistency is the reason why I didn't think they could make it. But what are they, 2? Are they 3 out of the
They have fallen. They fell to now back to 4 out in the wild
4. Yeah, I don't know how they can get that done. All right, guys, thanks for the comments. Appreciate it. Sorry we didn't get to all of your comments. A lot to talk about. We got a whole week to flesh it out as well. We got some big games coming up this week. USF at Miami, the Buccaneers at Houston. And we'll get through the week and see what else is going on here in local sports. And the Lightning preseason starts up pretty soon as well. Big thanks to all of you guys for commenting. Good job, Nick. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. We'll see you then.